Good morning to you. It's R&R in the morning here on San Antonio Sports Star. He's Rudy J. I'm Rob Thompson. James Pledger in the glass box of fun's got a button ready to push. Let's welcome him on. Head coach of your Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy. Good morning, Coach. We're glad to have you in.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good to be back on.
How you feeling, man? It's playoff time.
Feeling good. Feeling real good. It's Thursday on our schedule, so this is our workload and biggest day of the week. Padded practice and so forth. But it's going well. I really like the attention to detail and the way the guys are working. So their energy and their vibe has been outstanding.
It's 2023, Coach. I'm all about manifestation. So when y'all win, are you worried about the short week?
No, not at all. I think it's really falls in the category of you just worry about the things you can control. I mean, the blessing of it all is we've played in so many national games, night games, and so we're used to the stress and the adjustments that you need to make on a short week. And but I'll say this: I think, and we're all wired this way because it is a long year, but you get to the playoffs and you're only guaranteed 4 quarters, and so you got to do everything you got to do to win that game and get on to the next one. And sometimes when that game comes around quicker, it's not a bad thing too. So I mean, I just think this time of year, I think our guys clearly would be ready to play each and every day, regardless of where it is and what time it is. So I'm not concerned about it.
Mike McCarthy, right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Always brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Especially looking after what happened last week, Coach. Did it take a bit to get over that, or was that just a blip on the radar and you landed and we're looking at Tampa?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I know personally, I just needed to follow my own advice. Watch it on the bus ride and the plane ride home, and then once we touched down, we were on to onto the playoffs and on to Tampa. So. And even some guys were already on to Tampa on the plane. So I'm speaking more in the areas of the coaches. So we watched it, we graded it. With the extra day, we had a chance to bring the players in and on Monday and have an evaluation day. And so that's always Mondays are to me are probably one of the most critical days of your work week because you spend so much of the week on film of the opponent and all this other all these other focal points. But the reality is, the most important film is your own film, and then sometimes Mondays you want to get on to onto the next opponent, but to have that self-evaluation and time to go through it. So I think the 8-day week definitely helped us in that regard.
So in looking at the tape, did you have to use the art of what's it called? Kintsugi. What is that?
Kintsugi. Yeah, it's practice in the Japanese culture. It's when a bowl is busted or a samurai sword is cracked. The cracks and of the experience of failure is filled with gold. And so through your life and through your path, through your journey through a season, the things that didn't go so well in hindsight, end up becoming your gold. And so I think like anything in life, you learn more from your failures than you do from your successes.
What do you feel like are the biggest things that are the difference in between regular season and making the transition to postseason football?
The biggest?
Yeah. What's the biggest change you think? Or is it just a game?
Oh no, it's just a game, but it's I think like anything that the sense of urgency and could be higher. But I'd say the biggest change is in your medical report. I mean, we had our staff meeting yesterday and everybody was clear to go. So that's a great a great place to be. Guys are doing everything they can to make sure they're healthy and ready to go, and that's going to be one of big challenges for us, and it's a good challenge is to decide who's exactly who's going to be 46, 47, 48 when we line up and play Monday night. So, but yeah, I think the biggest thing is and I know it's the way I've always felt is we don't need new faces or new behaviors. We don't need new ideas. We don't need new things popping up. We got to really build off of our experiences, both pro and con, and take everything into this and apply it to this game and go get this win.
A couple weeks ago, Coach, I brought up something that seemed silly at the time, and now I see Ed Werder standing outside of your building bringing it up. The grass question about the home and away. I mean, is that even a consideration? We had DeMarcus Ware on yesterday, and he did bring up the fact that grass makes an, as far as the cleat he wears and the transition from contact to speed and things that I never even considered. Is that something of renewed consideration now, or do you not even think about grass, turf? Bye.
Oh no, I talk about grass a lot as far as the surface you're playing on and the different types of grass. The Bermuda versus bluegrass and all those things, particularly in the winter months when you overseed with ryegrass on the Bermuda and with cleat selection. So it's that's a part, to me, that's part of the head coach's job, is to clearly understand the arena that you're getting ready to compete in and make sure your players have all the information on their shoes. They're tired of talking to me about 7-stud shoes, because the thing
Really?
about, oh well, I think just based on the way these guys grow up and what part of the country, and there's more artificial turf than natural grass in today's game. But most players, they only wear molded cleats their whole life.
Mhm.
Some guys have never had 7-stud cleats on until they get to pro football. So in Green Bay, we made them all wear 7-stud cleats from the day they got there, because you play your games on grass all the time. So it's shoe education is part of it. I mean, it's even part of the player safety focus too, is make sure you have the right shoes on and so forth. But I get the statistic about grass, but when your home field is AstroTurf and your away opportunities are on grass, I think it's only natural. I mean, your home record should be better than your away record. So
We'd hope.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think you need to make sure that's the beauty of statistics. And then we appreciate Ed's hard work and bringing it up. But trust me, I don't know if anybody talks as much to their team about I do as far as footwear and things like that.
Do you have a preference? Like, I heard you mention a couple of flavors from Kentucky Blue and Rye. I mean, is there one that you go, oh, that's better grass?
Oh, I mean, Bermuda's like a carpet. So, but and that's nice. But and you could wear the molded cleats on that. But I'm where I'm from. I mean, football's meant to be played on Kentucky bluegrass. So.
Yeah, Chicago's field is awful. So yes, there is a difference. And Coach, Chicago's field is awful. And Coach,
well, that has nothing to do with the type of grass.
You know what I mean? And watch and keep an eye on Ed Werder. He's a troublemaker, Coach. Keep an eye on him. He likes to stir the pot. Watch him around your guys. Coach, your offensive line.
Nothing but love, Rudy J. Nothing but love.
Okay,
Nothing
I'm
but
just making
love,
sure.
man.
We're focused on winning. So
Look, I know last week Peters was at left. Tyler Smith had moved to guard. Tyron at right. Are you not giving us too much, but is it going to go back now that you got Biotish back, and or does it go back to Smith left, Tyron right, McGovern guard?
We're working all those guys, and I think rightfully so, especially after where our season's gone. So we just got to be ready for all those combinations. And really today's a big day for Tyler. Biotish coming back, because it's padded work, and this will be the first time he can really get in there and anchor. He's looked great. I mean, he's practiced every day this week, so I mean, he looks fine. But we, like I said, I mean, this is not that those guys will definitely be on a 48, but we got some moving parts this week before we figure out exactly how we're going to line up. So we're working some different combinations.
The other thing, Coach, you've said it all week long. Like, you know what? We're not going to put everything on deck. How important is it, and really every quarterback in the league, that you get your running game going to loosen things up for Dak? And and I know a lot's been made about the decision making and the interceptions, but it's still the ultimate team sport. How important is it for everybody to be clicking in order for Dak to be successful this Monday, coming up next Monday? Excuse me.
Oh, it's of the most importance. I mean, I think it's clearly. I mean, you go back to the philosophy of our offense since the day I arrived here. This whole offense is built around making the quarterback successful. I mean, those are the West Coast principles and outlook of when you design design your menu or scheme that you go into it. And the first component of making any quarterback successful is a real strong, healthy run game. So yeah, that hasn't changed. I think that watching us play all year, you can see our commitment to the run game, because it's like anything, you got to get the attempts off, and the most important part about keeping those attempts going is that third down conversion. And you can see last week against Washington, and we've been really we've been playing at a high level on third down, but obviously Washington was our worst game of the year in third down, and it obviously affects everything when you don't get that new set of downs.
Oh, it was a rough one on Sunday. Let's not go there. I want to look forward to Brady and your prep for him. And in years when you look back on coaching against Brady and prepping for him, what will you tell people what's the first thing you got to do when you deal with Brady? Checklist number 1 of the 50 things you got to deal with. But when you see Brady on the other side of the ball, what's the first thing you're trying to do with him? Bracket him, get to him? What is the idea or the prevailing idea now?
Well, I think it's just, really spinning off of the answer before is, you gotta stop their run game, because when you keep Tom and any offense and the ability to play run pass, at their choice and normal D&D, it definitely a benefit to him, and because he's exceptional from the pocket, with the ball handling, the fakes, and so forth and so forth. But then you get into the controlled passing game. He does a great job of really staying on time. He plays to the time clock of the scheme design, so the ball's coming out rather quickly. So with that, we got to once again we got to make sure our rush link is intact, and we're squeezing the leverage points on our coverage. So just hey, in situationally, you just got to be on top of your calls, your communication, because he does a great job of taking advantage of it. If the defense getting lined up late on a transition play, on the ball, up tempo offense. So he does all those things at a high level.
Coach, is locker room material real for you guys? When guys got maybe something negative to say about your team, do you use that? I don't even know if you would consider it disrespectful, but Mike Evans said that you guys were a good football team, but you were simple. Is that a thing with you and the players? Is it like, I don't know if y'all really use that, because sometimes we're like, oh, I can't believe he said that. They're going to go out. Is that a thing? And did you take that, if you even heard it, did you take that disrespectfully?
No, I don't. I mean, I think it's like anything in this business, especially when you get to this game. We all have responsibility, to sit here and talk about the opponent, their quarterback, and those types of things. And and as he views our defense, that's, I mean, I don't ever get really caught up in that. And that's, thanks for bringing that up, because I didn't hear that. And so
yeah, go tell him, man. Go tell Bland and the boys about that.
Oh, let me get off this damn phone. I know where I'm going next.
All right.
No, I'm not. Yeah, that's fine. And hey, Mike's an excellent player, and he's definitely a focal point for us, especially in their with their passing game.
He is head coach Mike McCarthy, joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star. He's brought to you every week by AA Best Bail Bonds. We've talked defense, we've talked offense, we've talked everything else. You've got an extra day to prepare. Did you build anything special? We talked a little bit about the Kintsugi. I also heard something about buffaloes in a storm.
I mean, it's really bad. I mean, it just goes back to our theme for the whole season. It's it's resilience, and those are all components of resilience, and analogies that are good, reference points, and the buffalo running into the storm, and Kintsugi as far as our experiences of the journey in the regular season, or now our goal as we go into this opportunity against Tampa. So yeah, I mean, it's just really following suit, which we've been talking about all year.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, boy, you sound confident there, Rudy J. Come on.
I already told you I'm manifesting, man. I got y'all winning this game. So
we follow the trends here, Coach. Losses followed by success, and that's the sign of a great coach. We appreciate you stopping by this week, head coach Mike McCarthy. Brought to you as always by AA Best Bail Bonds. We bid you, as always, good health, and we look forward to talking to you next Friday in preparation for yet another playoff game. Good luck, Coach.
All right, thank you, man.
Good luck.
Care.
Head coach Mike McCarthy joining us for his weekly resolute, ready to go to work.
My good luck came off not too confident. And you know what's messed up? I said, watch Ed Werder, and then I go and start something with Mike Evans. He said, I'm glad you told me that. He got to go run that back to the team.
No, let's not discount what we just heard. He wanted to hear that. That's going to be used
I'm glad
today.
You brought that up.
Now, his guys already know, because they're already
on
plugged
the socials
in.
And everything,
so they've already seen it. Now, do you buy that?
What?
Do you buy what Mike Evans said? Because if he was looking at the Commander's tape, that was pretty damn simple. This is what he said.
Well, they're a team that's simple. They're a good team, but they're simple. They don't run anything really exotic or defensively and offensively. They're just a really talented team, and they're just going to play straight up and see if you can beat them. So we got to come with our best.
Now, wait a minute.
Simple is disrespectful. It is. He disrespect. Look, this is what happens with veterans. Sometimes they get caught up and they say something, but they're a veteran, so you realize it within the statement, and you're like, and your brain's going 100 miles an hour, and you're like, oh, but they're a really good team. They're a really good team. Really good team. That's disrespectful. It's simple. And now this is what I'll tell you, though, Mike Evans. If Simple makes me the number one offense in the league 2 years in a row while Dak is under the helm, I take Simple all day long. So, again, I've said it. I don't think there's a lot to Kellen Moore's offense. Now, defensively, I'm not that good with my eye test isn't that good defensively, but if what Mike Evans sees is Simple defensively and the defensive year that the Cowboys had, I'll take that too. So he was talking about defense. But the Cowboys have had a pretty decent year defensively. So if that comes off as simple to you, and sometimes in life, keeping things simple is the better option.
What's it called?
KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Let's talk about this. Mike Evans called the Dallas Cowboys offense and defense simple, that they're very talented, but they don't do a lot of exotic things. Is that a good or a bad thing? I tend to fall on the good side of this.